Now, I'm not going to be sipping too much of this neat, but oh my God, this is a great, great rum. Now, I want to emphasize something. If you've not had this rum in a few years, it's probably very different to the rum you had. So in this video, we're talking about PUSSERS 151. I think they actually call it Select Aged 151. The previous guise of the 151 was actually a blend. And I can't remember whether it was Guyana and Trinidad, or whether it was Guyana, Trinidad, and one other. I think my hunch is it was a blend of three, but I don't know. I know for 100% it had Trinidad rum in there and Guyana, but I don't know whether it was a 2-rum blend or a 3-rum blend. This, however, is now, and I think this was pre-COVID. I don't know. I've just lost all track of time. So 2019. Maybe in 2021. I don't know. I generally don't know. But basically the blend changed. It is 100% Guyana rum, Demerara rum. Even though you know they say it's from the British Virgin Islands and all that sort of stuff, it is actually Guyana. All the PUSSERS rums are Guyana rum. That's where they come from. The only thing we know about this, and they don't really say this about this rum, to my knowledge, they do about the PUSSERS gunpowder proof, which is a majority blend of Port Morant. And again, you know, this could be clever words at play there, but because with majority blend, if you've got 4 rums in the blend, bearing in mind DDL have what, 9-10 stills, you know, if you've got a blend of say 4 rums, then your majority blend is 25.1%. So if you've got 5 rums, it's then 20.1% is your majority blend. So it could be 60-70% of Port Morant and then that, but you know, you've always got to look at wording and what they mean. So for this, we don't know. There is no majority blend, and there is no even reference to my knowledge of Port Morant being in this. All we have is, I think it's on the back here actually, is 3-year-old rums. The blend of rums in this bottle are aged a minimum of 3 years and once used charred oak bourbon barrels. Okay. So I would suspect from the taste, we have got a bit of wooden still going on here, whether it is kind of, I would say it's more Port Morant. It's likely to be more Port Morant and Versailles over Enmore. I think that's the way it goes. I can never remember. I think it's Versailles that goes into the 12 and the 8 and Enmore doesn't. It's one of the way around. I've completely forgotten now. But it's more likely to be Port Morant that goes in it. But as I say, you know, DDL do have column stills in there, so don't naturally assume this is all wooden pot still. There will be a healthy influence of column still in this, especially the high ester column still as well in DDL. Now on the aroma, on the nose, you know, there isn't too much going on the nose for me. I get vanilla, but the big overriding flavour that overshadows everything for me is kind of that burnt treacle kind of vibe. That's the best way I can describe it. Not caramel, not toffee. It's like inherently treacle, but with this sort of burnt vibe. You know, I really don't pick too much else apart from those two things, vanilla and that sort of burnt treacle. I don't pick, not like I do in the PUSSERS gunpowder proof, not like I do in any of the El Dorado rums. I don't get sort of that dried fruit style that I naturally sort of pick off with Demerara rums or Guyana rums. I just don't get it. For me, that the burnt sort of toffee, the burnt what's the word? Burnt treacle. That's the word I'm looking for. It's the vapor. It's the fumes. 75%. Well, sorry, in case you hadn't cottoned on, yeah, 151 is 75.5% ABV. All right, in case you hadn't cottoned on. Sorry if I hadn't explained that to any newbies, but essentially you are talking, it's near as damn it, double the ABV of a lot of rums behind me, back here. They're 40s, all right, some 42s, 43s, 46s. This is 75.5%, hence 151. Double it up, proof, 151. That's what it's all about. So yes, there is a bit of alcohol burn going up, but not too much off the nostrils. It's not making my eyes water or anything like that. I don't get that. It's that sort of burnt treacle, vanilla-y, probably barrel aging that kind of overshadows everything else for me. Now, let's be honest. There isn't many people in the world that's going to be sipping this neat purely for the ABV. And to sip this neat, you have got to take a little bit of a sort of sip, let it burn your palate, let your palate acclimatise, let the saliva kick in, and then taste it. You ain't going to get too much off the very first taste, all right? So you do have to get your palate acclimatized. Once you do, it is a lovely kind of, look, the taste, the profile of this to sip neat is actually really, really nice. If it was brought down with a little bit of water, it would actually be really, really nice. But inherently still not my style, because I do get those wood note. I dare say this is pretty a young rum in here, but I still get those burnt coffee notes, burnt molasses, burnt treacle notes off there. Not too much in the way of dried fruit, not too much in the way of orange or anything like that. A bit of vanilla, but it is those kind of words. I don't even really get sort of peppery spice coming off it, if I'm honest. It is just maybe burnt rubber. Maybe that might even be a great sort of tasting note for it. And I think this is a hard one to sum up, because tasting wise, because it is just those four, five, whatever I get. Coffee, vanilla, wood, more wood. Definitely burnt, that's the only way I could describe it. Burnt treacle, burnt molasses, burnt rubber, that sort of vibe to things. I just don't get dried fruit or anything like that I naturally do get from Guyanan rum. So just before I answer the questions, do I think it's value for money? Would I restock it, and have I got anything behind the bar already that's comparable? We kind of need to dive in and see how much it is for a first off. I haven't chatted about that. So we're talking £48 in the UK, $60, 55 euros. That's what that equivalents to. So $60 US, 55 euros. Again, I want to hear from you guys around the world. And as this is so close to the US, and it is a US, well, British Virgin Islands, you know, it's a company over there. It's not a UK company. PUSSERS is British Virgin Islands over in the Caribbean. I want to know whether you get this cheaper in the US and actually in Europe, around the world. I want to know your price. So the equivalent price is $60 here. Do you pay more or less than $60 for this 151? Now, so let's get into the nuts and bolts here. Right, use case scenario. We haven't even talked about that. Look, this for me, while you would potentially use this in a rum and coke or a rum and ginger beer, the best way I could describe this, if you do a 60ml double bubble of rum in your rum and coke, you would put, I think the actual exact maths comes out at roughly 38ml, if you get the calculator out. But if you say roughly 35ml, roughly, of this will give you the equivalent of a double bubble of your 40% is in a rum and coke. That's a perfectly good way to sort of drink it. Just bearing in mind, you'll need, if you do a 60ml, you'll need a hell of a lot more coke to kind of get your same sort of there. It's not to say because it's stronger, you can't use it. It just, the whole point is you can use a lot less of it. So it therefore becomes more cost effective if it is a mixer. It has got that profile for me as a lovely rum and ginger beer kind of rum. All right, you know, if I'm being brutally honest, probably 25-30ml for me in a tall glass with ginger beer. That's probably where I'm at with it. It's really, really nice in that sort of sense. But primarily, let's be brutally honest here, your use case for this is 15ml topping up on tiki cocktails, like crowning tiki cocktails, or adding that rich. Look, I don't think I would get this confused with it not being Demerara rum. I'm not going to say inherently Demerara rum vibes. It's just this weird too burnt, too coffee kind of vibe going off for me. What I want for Demerara rum. So would I put this in a Mai Tai? I don't know. I don't think I would. But this is what you would inherently use it for. That 15ml, 10-15ml of punchy, vibrant coffee chocolate notes in tiki cocktails. That's its use case. So in that sense, is £50, say £48, but £50, $60, 55 euros. Do I think that's great value for money? I would say, yeah, on the whole, it is. Because you only use it in 50ml, that's going to be 15ml, that's going to be, you know, it's going to last you a fair while. I've still got half a bottle left, and that's going to see me through for Christ knows how long. I can't, you know, while there are 151s about for £25, they haven't got the quality of what this has. But do I enjoy them more? We'll find out in a second. So that's its use case. Do I think it's value for money? I'm kind of on the fence. I think it is, but you know, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with that. So would I replace it, and have I got anything behind the bar already that compares to it? So obviously, and people might be there, the one big comparison you would make, albeit a very different rum, is Plantation OFTD. Even though this is a multi-country blend, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, 69% ABV as opposed to 75.5% ABV, the flavour profile of that just suits me more. Personally, it suits me more. And while I still don't think many people are going to have that as a neat sipper, I do think that is more suited to neat sipping, and you get much more rounded flavours and different flavours going on than what you do that. In that sense, and I don't mean this in a nasty way at all, that's a one-trick pony because it's just those sort of 4 flavours, whereas this kind of all over the shop. There's all different kind of things going on there, from Christmas cake to Jamaican rum to Barbados rum, the light fruit notes coming off there, to Guyana rum with your sort of fruitcake vibes. You know, it's so layered and just works exquisitely well in cocktails. And for me, me personally, tastes better in rum and cokes and rum and ginger beers. You know, the painkiller cocktail, I personally prefer that over PUSSERS gunpowder proof in a painkiller cocktail. Obviously, if you make a PUSSERS painkiller, you have to use PUSSERS rum. But in a painkiller, you know, that's where my thing is. So, would I restock this when I run out? I don't think I will, even though it's different tasting to this. I don't think I would, but here's one for you. If you're still watching, I know it'd be the loyal fans that are still watching here. I want to bring this rum into the equation as well. Hamilton 151. We don't get it here in the UK. It's not a brand that we can taste. It's not a brand that I've ever tasted. I want to know specifically from you guys in the US, but wherever else you could get Hamilton 151, but I don't know whether Canada, South America, I don't know actually. Around the rest of the Caribbean, I generally don't know. But I'm talking, I think mainly to you guys in the US. Hamilton 151. Let's be brutally honest. Let's pit it against all 3 of those. Again, Hamilton 151 is just a Guyanan blend, a Guyanan rum. So again, not like for like in that. So if you want to put that into the equation, then please do. But I want to know your opinions of Hamilton 151 and price in the US versus PUSSERS. I want to leave this one open to you guys. For me, I'm going to be stocking Plantation OFTD. But in the US, like for like, I want to leave this open to you. Would you go Hamilton 151 or would you go PUSSERS 151?